This is the new 2019 Ducati Scrambler Cafe, updated for 2018, coming from the 2018 model. Some changes you'll note is that there's a blue frame and they're going with this matte metallic silver paint, and they've upgraded to spoke wheels, as you can see. Other changes they've done are more electronic safety, and I'm going to show that to you guys now. This bike I just got yesterday with 4 kilometers on it. I've already put, let's see here. Actually, this is a perfect time for me to go through like the menus with you. So over here, you're going to have a bunch of switch gear now. You can go through the menus. Up top here, you're going to see a total mileage. So I've done 136. It just automatically switched to range because that's what I have it on. So you can now see the range that you have left on your bike, which is really nice. So if I go through the menus, you can see the outside air temperature. You can do the settings, total mileage 136, and the trip 132. So I got this delivered with only 4 kilometers yesterday, and I did a ton of mileage yesterday, which is pretty interesting. I have a lot of seat time, so I'm going to tell you guys all about that. Another thing you're going to notice, we got a gear stand indicator, and we also have a gear selector indicator. Time on the bottom, kilometers per hour, which you can change to miles per hour. Fuel light, which is interesting because my fuel light came on when I still had 3 bars actually on my fuel gauge, so that's something to definitely take note. The fuel light does not come on when you're close to empty. The fuel light comes on when your fuel gauge is basically at half, and then it just ticked down to two blocks just now. So that basically does it for the updated instrument cluster. It's really good, lots of information on there that you want to know and need, and it sort of just brings the whole bike up to date. Other changes you're going to note, I'm going to bring this around here, is that now we have a new Brembo hydraulic clutch system, which is beautiful, as you can see here. It's gorgeous. You got this bracket, the standard bracket with the drilled holes. I really like that. This is sort of loose, and that gives it that little sort of retro feel to it, and you can argue it saves weight. The bar mirrors have not changed. Moving on to the gas cap, also not changed, still got the Born Free. I like this non-generic gas cap, it's really nice. And this matte silver paint, it's difficult to convey through photos, press photos and press video, but in person it's absolutely beautiful. Everyone has sort of, that I've spoken to, has expressed the same thing, which is basically when you look at this bike in photos and then when you see it in person, it just doesn't do it justice. When I first saw this bike, I really didn't like it, but in person it is just gorgeous. Bringing around the front, there's one thing that I forgot to mention, is that now we have this wicked LED daytime running light that runs, which is a ring, sort of separated ring around the headlight. Is really nice around. It just looks really good, actually. You know, whether it's daytime running or at nighttime, it really adds that front end presence. And not much else has changed, and that's actually quite a few changes from 18 to 19. A lot of people might say, you know, it's not a lot of changes, but in fact it is, and the price hasn't really gone up. So I have to really give it to Ducati. They're giving you a really nice package, something really unique out of the factory. I mean, there's not much you really need to do to this. The only thing really is I'm going to do a tail tidy, get rid of that plate and plate location. I'm going to put it underneath the tail, clean up the rear signals, and basically it's good to go. I'm going to do an exhaust for sure. It's way too quiet from stock right now. It doesn't do the twin, that justice that it should definitely have. The other big change stylistically is going to be the wire rims. I'd say that most people do prefer a wire rim on a cafe racer. Not everybody does, of course, but for me it was definitely a huge selling point, and I think Ducati sort of recognized this, that wire wheels really do make a cafe more upscale over cast wheels. Now, whether you like blue on silver is definitely going to be a massive personal preference. Blue is not my color, and but silver sort of is. I like silver, but this contrast is just really nice. It's really classy. That's what I gotta say, you know. And they sort of carried this on, this 3-tone blue stripe design language throughout the entire bike, as you can see on the front fender, on the side here, on the tail here, and even on the new 2019 manual. So the bike's instruction manual in here also has these blue stripes on it. It's really cool. And yeah, I'm not going to really show you that, but I'm going to start it up. I'm sure everyone wants to sort of hear what it sounds like. It doesn't sound any different, but again, on new Ducati switchgear, a lot of people are sort of confused, but to start the bike, it is integrated with the kill switch. You just push down, and there you go. As you can tell, it is very, very quiet. As you can see, the rev counter is nicely integrated on the bottom part here. It's quite nice. So they really packaged that dash really, really well. That dash is really packaged with a lot of information, but it's still just on a circle, and it's very high definition. A lot of these circle singular dashes, cluster instruments, are quite low resolution, but this one is quite high resolution. So how did this bike fare? I did over 128 kilometers yesterday on this bike. I'm 6 foot, 183 centimeters. I'm a pretty tall guy, and all I have to say is that comfort wise, I was totally comfortable. There were no pressure points on my wrist or my shoulders or my butt. My butt did get a little bit sore at the end of the ride, but it definitely wasn't anything horrible. I did take a couple short breaks in that ride, but ultimately it is a very, very comfortable bike when it comes to ergonomics. How does this handle around the city? It is awesome, super, super agile. It's a really light bike as well. So coming in at only 433 pounds, and many people have already mentioned the stock exhaust is 12 pounds, and that plate bracket is also 12 pounds. So when you replace the exhaust and that plate bracket, you're bringing this bike down to about between 403 and 410 pounds totally wet, depending on what aftermarket exhaust you're getting. So that's a really, really light bike, and you can tell because going through traffic, or if you're filtering or just throwing through bends, it's really agile. It really gives you a lot of confidence riding this bike, which is really, really nice. The safety feature that they have upgraded on this bike is they've given you cornering ABS, which is now standard across all the Ducati models from what I understand, which is a really nice feature. Ducati's ABS system is almost second to none. You hammer that front brake and the systems are going to save you. Whether you're in full wet conditions or full dry conditions, the bike's ABS system is really, really good. Lastly, what I'm going to talk about is just the power of the engine. The 803cc motor hasn't changed since its iteration on the Scrambler. The only one thing I really wish they did for the 2019 is giving you that 1100cc option for this bike. I think that would have been a home run for this bike. For me myself, my perception of speed is a little bit different because I am a road racer, a circuit racer, so I always want a little bit more power. But for example, when you come off a R9 or not a BMW R90 or even this 1100 Scrambler, there's so much more down and torque, and you really like that on the street. It's really fun just getting that oomph on the street from the get-go. On this bike, you sort of need to rev it out. Now, I'm not saying that this engine is not good for this bike. It really suits the characteristic of this bike. I just wish that they had an 1100 option as well for this bike. So we'll see if Ducati does something like that in the future. Overall, if you're thinking about a new cafe, Ducati is running a bunch of promotions on this bike right now, some great discounts. So depending on your area, but I think it would be pretty much North America standard. These are a great deal for what you're getting. In conclusion, wrapping it all up,